Welcome to your online nightmare, the Dark Screen Society. I'm Chuck, and I'm here with Gigi,
Hi.
Brian,
Hello.
Seth,
What's going on, guys?
and today we are absolutely honored and excited to bring you a very special guest. It's a man that I have, befriended online through Instagram because I was interested in his new film that's coming out, Brute 1976, but he has been directing for a very long time and has an extensive catalog under his belt. First one that he was renowned for was a movie called Rootwood that is like a cinematic found footage film. And he has two of the most anticipated horror films coming out this year, Garden of Eden and Brute 1976. And I'll allow him to introduce himself, but here is Marcel Walz.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, like he said, I'm Marcel Walz, director, and I'm super happy to be on this nice podcast and can't wait to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all that.
Yeah.
Woo.
We're so excited. Speaking of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's the reason that we were attracted to asking you to come on, because I know that Texas Chainsaw is one of your favorite films of all time. And how would you feel if Texas Chainsaw was released in 2024, like the original version now? Like, how would that be perceived in today's society?
I would say probably very different. I don't think it. If it would have like this exact same movie with exact same like just how it is, I don't think people would receive it as good as like, or would be attracted to it as back in the days. I don't think so. Now it would be more of it's a look at that nice little indie film. That's just what it is then. But back in the days, everything was so different. That was actually, I don't think it's my favorite horror movie, but I think it's the most important movie in horror. That's just what it is. And I think people would like look at it differently if it would get released right now.
Why do you feel that it's the most important?
I think I would even say it's more important than Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorites, but Texas Chainsaw changed everything. So because it had everything in it. It had slasher elements, it had like torture elements, it had like the typical slasher things when the chase scenes at the end and all that, and also especially camera work. It changed pretty much a lot, and especially in the indie world.
Agreed.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like if it were to be released today, I think the same exact thing. Like people would be like, "Oh, like that was fun, but like what about this and what about this?" I especially think like I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I feel like we've evolved with horror where we need like a why and we need a story, and like people are like, "Well, why is the family like this? And what about the grandpa? And what about like they need answers to everything that I feel like if it were to come out today, people would be like, this is mid because they didn't give us like the background of everything and anything that we needed to know. Where like when it was released, people were like, yeah, they were just like a fucking weird family slashing and that was the end of the movie. And like, I wish that people could just accept things like that.
Also, like, to your point, Gigi, I think another reason I don't know if it would do as well today is because like they don't really show anything like the hook. You don't see the hook going in, and people are going to be like, well, I didn't see anybody actually like get slaughtered. Like, it's not as bloody as I wanted it to be. So I think that would be a big thing. And then the other is like, you can't recreate that atmosphere. It's just like, I rewatched it again the other night, and it gets under your skin. It makes you just feel so uncomfortable, even for it to not show anything. So I think that's another big reason. It's just like impossible to recreate that.
I think the first time when I saw it, it was on a shitty VHS from my mom or my dad. Someone had it somewhere, and I found it, and I watched it, and I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? And I remembered it was to be like so bloody and gory and all that. But then rewatching it again, I said, wait a second, there's nothing in there.
There's like nothing, yeah.
You don't see anything, but that's the that's the power of those kind of movies and effects and feelings, what they build in the movies, or the look, everything about it. That's the magic of it, because you think you see everything and you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
That's something I don't think, I don't want to say it, but I think I have to say it. I don't think this generation has the ability to see things like that anymore. And they can't imagine it, probably because they get so much, like, you see everything in the movies, action, science fiction. There's so much going on the picture. And I don't think, because then you don't have to think about anything. You don't have to imagine anything anymore. So people probably forget about those kind of stuff and forget about to imagine stuff. And I think that's a big problem to that too.
Oh yeah, 100%. I always say that about like Jaws as well. Like we've talked about like shark movies extensively, and I feel like every podcast episode I got to fight for Under Paris because
You and me
people
both.
I know, man, because like back in the day with like horror movies, like when we're thinking like Jaws or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like we don't see a lot of it. We don't see a lot of, like, Bruce gets 4 minutes of screen time in the whole movie, or like Texas Chainsaw, there's like a drop of blood in there. But nowadays it's like people are like, well, we didn't see the gore, or we didn't see the creature, or like, oh, a shark movie but no shark. And it's like we don't leave enough up to like the imagination, and that's I think that can be a big failure for a lot of movies. So
this new generation's got to start reading some more.
I know these damn kids.
Get off them iPads.
I think being released today, like that exact frame for frame film, would be really dependent upon what studio's name was attached to it. Like if it had an A24 on it, I think people would expect it to be like some kind of artsy film. But there's two shots, like whenever he's first chasing the girl and she goes back in, like after the meat hook, like he walks past a window and there's a shot through that window of like the sunlight on Leatherface's face, but it's before he picks up the chainsaw, and it freezes on his face. And like to what you were saying, Marcel, like for how long it stays on his face, it almost puts you like into his brain of like the insanity of this man, which is what in turn scares you. So that's, I guess, why, maybe because I used to think it was like this most graphic thing ever, and like it really isn't. But like when you're so frightened by the shots that they chose, it creates that in your imagination, which I think is absolutely brilliant. So I don't know how it would do today. What do you think, Brian?
I was just going to speak on your point about the scenes that show you the characters. So there's a scene where Leatherface is in the kitchen cooking or prepping the kitchen, whatever he's doing. Sally's tied up with Dad. I forget Dad's name off the top of my head. And he's berating Sally, giving her all stuff. And then Leatherface comes out to do something at the table, and he gets told, go back in the kitchen. He starts to go back in the kitchen, and then the dad turns back to berate Sally, and Leatherface turns around like he's distracted. He's like, oh, what's going on here? And starts coming back. And I was like, it's so almost animalistic. Like it's just so simple-minded that he's that easily distracted. I was like, oof, that's something about that just resonates. It's such a simple scene, but paints such a great picture of what Leatherface's mind is like, I think.
No, totally. I think so too. And even like in the ending shot, which spoilers of a 50-year-old movie, but like when he's like swinging the chainsaw after Sally gets away, I think that also paints a picture of like his mindset, because he's kind of just like flailing around, and it's almost like kind of sad. Like it's like scary and creepy, but then it's like kind of sad because you just know that he's just this like, very stunted like human. So I don't know. I totally understand that scene too.
Yeah, I 100%, because people misunderstand the fact that like Leatherface is a victim. Like he's not like some big hunting slasher. Like he's the product of generational trauma and abuse, and he is on the animalistic level, Brian, to react to the surroundings that he was raised in. Like he's a product of his environment. So like when the first kill, when he comes out and he like holds on to his head and he starts shaking it, because he just is like, it's almost like it hurts him to have to do that, but he does it because that's what he was trained to do. And like that I absolutely feel.
That's
pretty
another
deep.
beautiful, sorry, Chuck, part of that scene is like, I think in a more modern film, that first reveal of Leatherface, there'd be like a large sting sound wise, and it would just like zoom in on his face, but it's not. It's just he sees the person, hits him in the head. It's just
Yeah.
so quick, and it's like oh my god, you feel it right in your gut. You're not expecting it. Whereas nowadays, I don't think we can do that kind of tension. At least I don't believe so.
No, I think that's so true. Yeah, like the first thing that you see, you're like, oh, he just like stepped out nonchalantly, and it's like a quick little shot. And I think today people would be like, oh, anticlimactic, you know? So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great. One of the next things we wanted to ask here is, which horror movie character from another franchise do you think would best stand against Leatherface? And I wanted to start with you, Marcel, because this is a fun one. So who would you want to see go up against Leatherface?
Like a Freddy versus Jason kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a good question. I would probably same power kind of thing. Maybe Michael Myers. I don't know.
That could be good.
I would say probably that. We will never see it on screen because of the studio problems, but
Right.
In a perfect
But,
world, though.
yeah, I probably would say that's those two maybe. Yeah.
Who would win though?
Yeah.
Michael.
I would think Michael, yeah.
Yeah, Michael would probably win in that case. Yeah.
GG.
Oh God. Let's see. I was gonna joke and be like Megan, but like
Me three.
Regan. Who would I actually want to see? Oh man. Maybe you know who? Okay. I know. It's not really he's not a villain though. He's a hero.
Oh.
I would love to see Ash go up against Leatherface.
The chainsaw. Yeah.
Yes, I think that would be a
That's
fun.
Epic.
That's amazing.
That'd be a just chainsaw. So.
Your movie's already better than mine.
I love the sound effects.
What about you, Brian?
So bear with me here. So in A Violent Nature, not everybody loved it, but in this one, we're following Johnny, and he's suddenly walking through the woods. Everyone's bored because he's just walking in the woods. He shows up at a house, and then it recreates pretty much the first scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre where he opens it. There's Leatherface, and it's just suddenly Johnny face to face with Leatherface. I need that.
That would be awesome.
That would be a good one because they're both like depicted as like these kind of just like childlike characters, and I think that would honestly be kind of depressing to watch.
Yeah.
Well,
that's pretty good.
With Leatherface in the movie, it's more than walking then in that case, and that's great. So that's for a sequel, that's a step up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Lots
absolutely.
of walking and screaming. They gotta have Sally though, because we gotta have those screams.
Yes.
What about you, Chuck? What do you think?
I would pick mine for the same reason kind of that Brian did his. I would pick Victor Crowley from Hatchet.
Nice.
Because they're both like on the same mentality level. So
Yeah.
it would just be like sheer brute force of I have to kill this other thing. So I think it would be a brutal, bloody showdown. I think that would be pretty cool.
I have yet
like
to see
that.
Hatchet.
Really?
Yeah.
It's good.
It's been on my watch list for like ever, and I'm always like, another
Well,
movie.
there's
Got 4 to watch.
4 movies now.
I know. So there's I need to watch it. But didn't Dark Sky just come out with a
Yeah. Didn't they just send it to you?
No.
You didn't request it?
No, but I did get my Texas Chainsaw
I'm leaving this
Texas
discussion.
Chainsaw Massacre
Poster.
50-year anniversary beautiful poster, which I should have had it hanging in the background, but
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay.
it's in the package still. But okay, my question is, how
Well, you
does
jump on,
the
GG. We didn't get Seth's answer, did we?
No,
what?
it's okay.
Oh my
Just Seth's
god.
answer.
Just
Go ahead,
skip
Seth.
over
Oh
me.
my
No big
God.
deal.
I'll remember you,
Seth.
Seth.
It's 'cause
Thank you,
I'm
Brian.
jealous.
I appreciate you.
I'm jealous you got to breathe Glenn Powell's air.
That was pretty cool. I mean, the person next to me asked the director what he smelled like, so
Yeah.
That's weird.
it's so weird.
What?
Yeah, I went to the Twisters premiere, and I was on like the red carpet doing interviews, and the person next to me asked the director what Glenn Powell smelled like, and her the director's PR person was like, "You can skip that."
No.
It was
That's
really
so
weird.
awkward.
Weird.
I hate when people ask like I'm like, you
Look
got
at
the
his face.
opportunity to be on red carpet and you asked that question. Like, come on.
It was
Oh, well.
awkward. But my pick for who I want to see go up against Leatherface is I'm gonna go different than you guys. I want like methodical, and I was thinking having another cannibal. So I kind of want to see Mad Mikkelsen's Hannibal go up against Leatherface.
Okay, a
That's
little
interesting.
cook-off.
A
Just
little
kidding.
cook-off. And I
Show
what's that?
a cooking show like
Exactly.
Exactly.
They could Iron Chef it. Yeah.
Yeah, who's the better cook? I think that'd be
I
kind
like
of fun.
that. That's a fun one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so-
obviously my movie sucks. And all your guys' sequels are way better than mine, I guess.
Never.
well, hit us
Corey-
up,
Myers, and it's probably Blumhouse production in that case.
I'm glad you said it. We didn't.
Yeah, right. 100% Blumhouse. Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
my god, I love that.
With Megan
That-
Poster in the background somewhere, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there.
And they could fight on the side of a dark swimming pool. Yeah, it'd be real nice. Yeah.
Poor Blumhouse. They are always catching hands on our podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Catching strays.
I know.
And you didn't
Oh
even
my
brought
God.
it up.
But they haven't returned my email.
I know. They're like, I've listened to one episode. Okay, well, sorry, Seth, that I skipped
you're
you. How does the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre hold up against like its sequels and its remakes? How do we feel about those, Marcel?
I like pretty much not every. I don't like the new ones. So I'm not a fan of the last one. I'm not a fan of the 3D, but I'm a huge fan of the remake and the prequel. The prequel is I would say my favorite movie of the franchise. I have a sweet spot for New Generation. I don't know why, but I do have it. It is weird. It's stupid. It's not good, but I don't know why, but I like it. The first one is still the best one. One of my friends and partner, Joe Netter, he's a huge fan of Part 2. I'm not a fan of Part 2. I think it's a good film. But I don't like the funny elements of it. I don't know why. Why Toby Hooper went this way with the fun and all that. But I would say the first one is the best one, of course, because it changed so much. But my favorite movie is the prequel to the remake, and because it feels so. You watch it, and it feels hot. It feels dirty. You kind of smell the meat in the movie. I don't know why, but it's so good. It's like yummy. So yeah.
I love that because we've talked several episodes. We've described movies as like sweaty and smelly, and that is a subgenre of horror. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I feel like, birthed this like sweaty, smelly horror.
Yes, I think especially the first one, you smell every single detail
Yes.
movie, and it. I don't think you can do it. I don't think the second one has that feeling. I don't think the third one, not the fourth one, but the remake feels kind of clean, but the prequel to the remake it feels so dirty. Everything is so, I don't know. There's like something special to it. The new ones are not even close to that. So it's not even like in the same universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the 3D is like clean as hell. The color. I like poppy colors, but not for that kind of movie. Everything is so like
Polished. Yeah.
like TV.
Yeah.
Like it's so there is no dirt.
We did get the best line of all time though. Here's your chainsaw, cuz. Or go get him, cuz.
Yeah, I know.
What do you think, Seth? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Marcel.
No, that's it. That's all.
Seth, so I don't skip you again. What do you think?
No, thank you this time. I've actually never seen the prequel one, so I need to check that out. So I'm sorry on that. But I think
Blasphemy.
I know. I think some of the sequels are solid. I also didn't like the new one. I think it had like one decent scene, which was the bus scene. But the rest of it is like, what are we doing here? But the 2003 remake, I actually prefer over the original. Sometimes I just love that movie. And I think that shot of when they're in the car and it goes through the person's head is just like the coolest thing ever to me. And it's
So
just
smart.
I don't know. It's just such a brutal movie. And like, I love the original. I was texting the gang here last night, and I was just like, it just makes me feel so uncomfortable. Like, it's hard for me to watch it for some reason. Like, I love horror, but the original Texas Chainsaw just like makes me feel so uncomfortable.
Well, great. Then
it does its job.
That's perfect, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I totally agree because like it had been years since I'd seen the original where it almost felt like a first time watch, which I love when that happens. When
Yeah.
it's been so long since you've seen a movie, you're like, I've forgotten everything about this. And like some of these scenes in the original, like when they do a close up on Sally's face and her eyes are like moving around, like I literally was like sick to my stomach
Yep.
and like having her scream. I was like, this is like this. I was like overstimulated. And then again, like it feels like you can smell it and like feel it.
Mhm.
And I was like, this is a lot. And then they do these like quick cuts of all like the dead animals and the bones. And I'm like, people would like pass out if like this were like if we were to experience this like back then. I'm like, it's crazy that like yes, The Exorcist and everything got the level of recognition where people were like, oh, they were throwing up and having heart attacks in like the theater. But I'm like, I would feel more so about Texas Chainsaw Massacre than The Exorcist. Like
1000%.
that shit is way scarier and like just like way freakier with like visuals and imagery and stuff like that. But I like the 2003 remake a lot, but I haven't seen it in so long, and I'm afraid that when I watch it again, I'm gonna be like, wait, this isn't as good as I remembered. But I remember it being like brutal because I love how like bloody it got and how like the certain angles that they had and stuff like that. So, and that's like during the time.
The other thing, I don't think it's bloody. It's weird. It's
Is it not bloody?
It is bloody.
I think it's
but
bloodier.
It's not,
yeah.
It's like the prequel is way gorier. It's like they went above and beyond for that. But it's the remake is like, I mean, yeah, there's blood, of course, but it's like nothing super crazy. And even how the color correction is, the blood looks pretty dark and goes in that greenish kind of way already. So it's you don't get the like the rawness kind of. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely. I mean, it's bloody, but it's I don't think you see as much as in the prequel.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it because I was going to rewatch it last night, but then I was like, oh, you know what? I'd never seen the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm just really not like, I am so bad at watching sequels or like movies within franchises. And so I saw the second one and I totally agree. It has like these like funny aspects to it. And it's so the tone is so like it shifts from the first one where you're like, oh, all of a sudden it got really funny. But I thought it was like fun and colorful and stuff like that. But yeah,
it's fine. It's a good movie. That's not the problem. It's just weird for me. That's the sequel. That's what
totally.
Let's go this way now.
Exactly.
Two almost tried to do what Evil Dead 2 tried to do, make it campy. And I think they miserably failed because it's not a good movie, but it did give us an iconic character in Chop Top, which I think is one of the best characters ever. But I watched 2003 last night, but I backed it with the original, which I shouldn't have done because it made me like it less because it's really hard to follow that movie. I love it so much. But that scene in it goes from like that dusty, sunshine to Jessica Biel to the hitchhiker and that dead stare of you're all gonna die, and then she puts that gun in her mouth, and it isn't even necessarily the shot pouring through her head that got to me like it did originally, but when they zoom the camera back in and there's that little bit of smoke coming out of her mouth, really made me feel uncomfortable. And that's what I noticed last night too, was it isn't as bloody as I remember, but the way that they set the tone with that traumatic scene, everything feels like it's way worse, which I appreciate because obviously it saved them a ton of money on budget, but it just made you feel from that point forward, because when she comes around the van and throws up, they pull the camera out and they shoot down to that garbage barrel, and it has like a skinned cow head on it. So then they tie you into like the whole family meat thing. So it just covers you in that grit, which I thought was real. I noticed that last night. I think it's really well done. What about you, Brian?
So I've not seen Leatherface. I think that's the only one I've not seen out of them because the reviews for it were pretty terrible, so I didn't bother watching it. But I think, as you say, 2003 is for me the best remake. Original's obviously superior, but yeah, that's it. 2003 is decent. None of them are bad movies. I didn't have a bad time with any of them.
Although even the 2019 one?
Was it 2019 or was it 2022?
Like it wasn't 2022.
Yeah, like
what?
Like it's not like hell? It wasn't like this is a really good movie. It was just like, okay, I could watch that. I wouldn't watch it again, but I've definitely seen worse movies. Obviously, what they did to Sally is sacrilege. But,
yes, I agree.
Other than that, I didn't mind it.
That was 2022. Oh my God, what is time? Yeah, I didn't
like
that.
That was a pandemic movie, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I think the bus scene was like iconic.
Yeah, that was cool.
But everything else, I was like,
that scene in a different movie, great.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, I don't know what they were doing with that one, but
I think if they would have took all those ideas with a more capable director, they could have pulled off something great. It was just very poorly executed.
Yeah, but wasn't there a problem even with like on set with like they changed directors and all that? Yeah,
I was in like development hell and lots of changes and re-edits, and it was doomed from the start, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I think they even started shooting the movie with a different director. I don't know who it was. And then the producers of the studio they were not happy with it, and then they said, well, we have to get someone else, and someone else got in, and they reshot pretty much everything.
Oh God, yeah, that's just doomed.
Wasn't Fede involved with it at one point?
Wasn't he the producer? And I think he wrote. Wasn't the idea from him?
Yeah, story was by Fede. So whoever took it over from him just completely butchered it.
It's because your thumb is up, Chuck. That's why. It's because you're like, for those that are listening, a little thumbs up came up on Chuck's screen.
Thanks. I was like,
that's amazing.
It's Chuck approved,
right?
It's Chuck approved.
We need to bring back the 3D horror films. Come on.
No.
God, that era.
The era.
Jaws 3D.
Oh my gosh.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
so bad.
Let's shift on. So when paying homage to a film as classic as Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what aspects did you feel were the most important to convey in 2024? Obviously, Marcel, that one's for you.
Which movie is the most important movie or what?
What aspects did you feel were most important to convey?
That's a good one.
I will say before you answer that Brute feels very Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, and like gritty.
Like the immediate shot in the trailer feels dirty, gritty. You feel like you're in trouble for something. So that's where we got the question from. Like, what were the most important points in a homage?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, it's pretty obvious that Brute is like inspired by Texas Chainsaw, Hills Have Eyes, and those kind of movies. And yeah, it was really hot. Like it was 120 in the desert, so it's not like we're faking the sweat. That was real. The makeup lady had a lot of work. So, yeah, that's so if it's the question for my movies, it's definitely like that's Brood. What is like? It's heavily inspired by the Texas Chainsaw. I would even say more maybe by a little bit Hills of Ice kind of. But yeah.
Which
we
I feel
talking?
like.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah.
continue.
No, go ahead, Brian.
Were you talking OG Hills of Ice or the more recent Hills of Ice?
Both. It's because I think I'm not I mean I would choose the remake, of course, obviously, over the original. The remake is so good in every single way. It's like it's disturbing. It's like it feels so real, even if it's like mutants in the fucking desert. It's but it even that is like, oh shit, what if? It feels so watching. When you watch the movie, it feels so uncomfortable. Even the scenes when nothing is happening, because you know what's happening, and it's like you watch that movie, it's like, oh fuck. I remember the day when I saw it in the theater, and when there's that rape scene in the trailer and all that, so in the van, it's like, oh fuck, this is. I remember so many people left the theater after that.
Yeah,
and
it's intense.
The music was so made the movie even more uncomfortable, and that's what I like. I like when music helps the movie helps it or elevates the uncomfortable feeling for the audience. I love that a lot. So yeah.
Is that why you like Halloween so much? Because that's one of my favorite reasons is the music, how it really just elevates that movie.
I think Halloween has just even if it's like they haven't shot or they didn't shot the movie during Halloween or like the season, but it's like you have that Halloween feeling, most of the movies, they have like a great feeling, and it's I love the music, of course. I mean, who doesn't? I mean, that's stupid, who doesn't? But it's I'm a huge fan of the first one. I'm a huge fan of the third one.
Yeah.
And I do have to say that when I saw it as a kid, or like 12 years or 13 years old, and I bought the VHS from our Blockbusters, and it's like, and I'm watching it for the first time. I was like, what is happening? What is it? So I hated it just because like there's no Michael Myers. Well, that's hate. But then over the years, I rewatch it because of like doing Halloween, watching all the Halloween movies every year. So, and then I had, oh, wait a second, this is actually a good movie. So why is everyone hating it? And I just love the fact that everyone, or a lot of people now, discovering the movie like now, and then they say, oh shit, it's actually a good movie, and it gets finally the love there's like
resurgence.
I watched it for the first time last Halloween, actually, the third one, and I absolutely loved it. So it took me a while.
Me too, because I really, it just seems so different, and it is like, it just seems so different from Halloween that I was like, oh, I don't really like. I just always put it off, and then finally I was like, oh, I'll watch it, and it is like it is weird, but like so many aspects about it I love.
Yeah,
and that fucking song.
Yep, the song and the ending.
Oh yeah, it's arguably better than the original. Like I think there's an argument for that. Like just for its to me like for its standalone presence. But it's also the most Halloween season feeling horror movie of all time. Like, cause it nails Halloween across all fronts. But like, it took a long time. It's a really, really well done movie that has its own sense of dread, and it's something that like is more realistic that can happen than some dude chasing you to stab you. You know what I mean? Like that's some entity, because these like cult people want to get into the kids and do all this stuff. Like I think it's a creepy movie.
It is, and that's actually a movie I know a lot of people would say I'm out of my mind, but it's that's a movie I would say that could be a great remake. If people would pick that movie, make a remake out of that, putting it in this time, because now actually I can see stuff happen that you have a mask, it's connected to your fucking phone with an app, whatever. And,
right.
Whatever. It's like, this is just a perfect idea for a remake during our time we're right now in,
Yeah.
I think that would be perfect.
I think that's fair too, because I don't think a lot of people have actually seen Season of the Witch. Like I feel like it would be a remake, and people are like, well, I've never even seen the original. So it could be like that kind of thing that happens where you watch the remake, and then it has you go back to watch the original to have just a side-by-side and appreciation for it, because there are a lot of movies like that.
If the right people were listening out there, we got your guy, Halloween 3 remake.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Seth.
I was gonna say, I thought that that's what they were gonna.
Blumhouse, and when they watch the whole episode, now I'm bitching about Blumhouse, and now they're like, well, we don't get.
They're like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck this guy. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought that's the direction that they were gonna take, because they are doing that Halloween TV show that A24. I think it was Miramax finally like won the rights to it, but I think that was the original direction they were gonna take, was do Season of the Witch, but as a TV show. And then they like scrapped it, and now they're doing basically just like the full night of Halloween in the TV series.
Interesting.
Is that still happening?
It's still happening. Miramax has the rights to it, and they're gonna have Laurie Strode. Obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis is like too old to play young Laurie Strode anymore, so they're gonna like recast all that, which is gonna be, who knows.
That'd be hilarious if they did have her though.
Right? DH her.
Please no.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's at least not a Halloween Ends.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no. Didn't they just announce too that there was like
if it wouldn't be a part of Halloween franchise, maybe a different story. But because it's like Halloween Ends, and they wanted to end with that kind of movie. I don't know if that was a smart choice, but if that would be just a movie by itself, and it exact same problem with Halloween 3.
Yeah, it's another good idea. Yeah, just wasn't executed great. Like I was into that whole idea of this different guy and this character. Like it just didn't fit where they released it at. Like it was too much of a swing for the setup that they gave us. It just didn't make sense where they put it in there.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a good ending for Laurie Strode. It's that whole thing should have she deserved more, I think.
That's where my mistake for Blumhouse started.
Didn't they just like announce yesterday or something that there was going to be like another Halloween?
No, that's a fan film, I believe.
Was it? Okay, thank God. I was like, wait, I thought we were done with this.
Well, we have the show.
No, we will get the TV show.
Yeah, there you go. That's I'm fine with. It's the.
No, I'm fine too, and I think that's, like I said, it's Halloween Ends is not like the quality or anything. That's not a bad movie. That's the problem. I think people would look at it differently if it wouldn't be a part of the franchise.
Yeah.
So or like a spin-off more. But this is called Halloween Ends, and you as a fan expect like a big
totally
H2O fight with Jamie Lee Curtis. That's which is like that was just a perfect ending for me. That was like just okay, great. Because I'm a huge Scream fan, and that movie felt pretty Screamish, like a Scream movie. And that is like, hey, that was a nice mix between Halloween and Scream, and perfect.
So you're saying you want to see Jamie Lee Curtis roundhouse kick Michael?
Yes.
But we should have known better, because after Halloween Kills, and which I don't think is bad neither, but if you're gonna call something Halloween Kills, like I expected that to be like just a brutal slaughter fest of killing, like for 2 hours. And it's not that at all. So like they were a little their punctuation with their titles was a little off base for what they delivered. They're trying to please too many people instead of making the film. Like you can tell the ideas in their head. They just like were hesitant to just execute it the way that they wanted to, and they were trying to please too many groups of people with making it like sort of safe. They feel safe to me.
It just it sucks because the 2018 film is so good. Like I really like the first Halloween that they did, and
I do as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's a great
and
film.
It just went right downhill after it. Yeah, 2018 is good. I like it, and it just went downhill. So Marcel, I mean, obviously we're gonna bring it up. So
what?
I don't shut up about Brute. I listen. If I'm I'm on TikTok, I've made videos. If I'm in lives, I post a poster.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, and listen, I got like this whole little crew of people that are so hyped up about it, because like it speaks to me, and especially after seeing the trailer, it spoke to me even more. So have you had any, has it been screened? Have you had early? I know there was a festival it was at a while ago, I believe. Like, so what has the initial reaction been? Have you gotten positive feedback? Well, like, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
was gonna say, and before even like the positive feedback, can you tell us like listeners who have never even heard about the movie, like what can we expect? What's it about? How and then like how is the initial reaction been?
Okay. So it is our like Joe, our company that between me, Joe, and Sarah, we had that movie idea for a long time now, and but there was never like the right moment to do it, and then we met our fabulous producers, and they loved the idea, and then we got finally the chance to do it, and it is um it is a love letter to all those 70s movies, and I always wanted to do a movie um, set in the 70s. So I just love the look. I love the music, the wardrobe and everything. So that was like, woo, yay, I can play. And it's yeah, it's about like there's actually two stories going on in the movie, like but the main story is about a group of people having a photo shoot in the desert for a magazine cover, and it's the bicentennial, it's America, and and then of course they come across that nice little ghost town in the middle of nowhere, and then they meet Mama Birdie, and Mama Birdie is creepy, and there's something weird going on. There is a big story behind it. I can't really tell that. So
Yeah.
Right.
when I just tell you guys what the movie is, it sounds like, well, one of those movies, but there is more to it. It's for us it was very important that we give the family um, an iconic or like a look people will remember. So that was important, and we have like some little nice homages to Texas Chainsaw and to all the movies we love. So it's and yeah, I hope it feels dirty and sweaty and all that, because that was real, and it's not did something wrong. Um, it is bloody. It's not. It has this, like, there's one kill in it, and I don't want to say what it is, but it got huge reactions in the theater, and it's like which was great. So the only screening we had was like an industry screening for cast, crew, and with for distros and all that kind of stuff. So and the reactions we got was like everything we hoped for, thank God. And I'm always like the person, I don't want to watch it with audience, because I'm scared about the reaction if they don't react to that right moment, and if they won't, or they laugh at the wrong moments, whatever.
Yeah.
I can say without lying or anything, or over uh, uh, or like, yeah, it got a perfect reaction. So, and that's we're very happy with that.
I love that. I'm even more excited now.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Do you have like a which and you know anything that you can't answer, but do you have like a timeline of possibly when the general public gets to view it, or like even a trailer or anything like that?
I mean, everything is ready to go, and we went. Raven Banner went to Cannes. It got, thank God, really good. There's a lot of interest. Let's say that, and it's there now. They're picking out like which company would be best for it. And I'm very happy they're doing it, because they know it's like it's it's a movie that should like it's also important, like we mentioned it earlier, it's the marketing and everything, so
Mhm.
they hope to get someone who's creating like something around it. So I have a feeling maybe end of the year, early next year, that should be when it comes out, or because they do want to go into the festival circle first, which is smart to get maybe hopefully a little buzz going, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
And
That's awesome.
it'll be a theater release.
that's I even if I would
Hopefully. Right.
I don't even know, because now
Right.
it's that's I would hope so, because who doesn't? And
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I get it.
so it's always interesting how distro companies or labels think like, hey, we should, that's a movie we should put in the theater, or
Mhm.
then you watch a movie online, it's like, why the fuck wasn't that in the theater? So it's
Right.
very interesting how they choose what should be in the theater and whatnot. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hopefully it does get a theater release. I think that would be a pretty badass movie to watch in the theater. My very last question, which wasn't on there, which came up just
Okay.
while you were talking, is what is like, or what are some movies that people should watch to prepare themselves? So we know Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we know The Hills Have Eyes. Are there any other movies that can kind of like put us in that vibe to prep us for Brute?
In that vibe, I would probably say definitely the original Texas Chainsaw, maybe the remake from Hills Have Eyes, that kind of, maybe Wrong Turn a little bit, maybe
Mhm.
maybe not, maybe a little bit, but just to get in that mood. Yes, that's
I'm curious, Marcel. Have you seen Eight Eyes?
I was gonna say that.
which one?
It's called Eight Eyes. It was directed by Austin Jennings. It's been on a little bit of a festival run.
No,
You haven't seen it?
no. Should I watch it?
Yeah, it's like a
I mean,
sweaty.
yeah, I'll message you after we're off here. I can make it happen and get them to send it over to you. But it's exactly what you love.
Oh,
It's sweaty, it's dirty, it's weird, it's creepy. Like it's exceptionally well done for what it is. I think it's something that you would really enjoy, especially because you've crafted something similar.
yeah.
So what about Garden of Eden? Is Garden of Eden hitting this year? What's going on with that?
It's actually the same state, like the
Same
same
thing.
game. It's because we Raven Banner picked both movies to the
Oh, that's great.
so it's for what I heard, it's from Ken, because Garden of Eden is very different. It is a very, I have to say that it's a very different movie. It's very artsy. It is I don't want to call it a torture porn because it's not, but it is very bloody and torture
Oh
porn
man,
a little
It's like
bit.
that's right up Chuck's alley.
Yeah.
can't wait.
It's very we have a lot of scenes in it with very, well, people might maybe talk about, especially at the end. There's it's very religious. It's with a lot of question marks after, I would say. It's like
Oh,
it's a
good.
movie you were like, okay, what was that? So that,
Ooh.
yeah, it took us a long time to make that either. It's like, because we wanted to wait for the right moment. That was actually the first script Joe Netta wrote for me, and it never felt right to do it. And then at one point, it's like, you know what? I think we should do it now. And it is very different. Let's put it that way.
I love the cover. It also has this like sweaty, sunny vibe. Does it have
No,
is it like that?
No, it's
Okay, because like the cover looks
yes, we do have some like scenes in the desert, but it's about a very rich family, maybe Beverly Hills, who knows? And they have those garden parties with masks and all that, and there's some people
Okay.
going to their parties, and everyone brings like an envelope with a name in it, and
Oh
they
boy.
choose people to make their dreams come true. But their dreams are like, it's not a revenge story. It's very religious, and they do all those killings in the name of God. And so yeah.
You're speaking my
Oh,
language.
I know. I was gonna say, can I read the IMDb? Like the
Is it like Bohemian Grove inspired?
Never heard of it.
He's like, what's that?
Yeah, just Google it when we're off. It'll lead to a big. It's very similar to that, like that. Like Eyes Wide Shut type kind of thing with the higher class society sort of deal.
So it is and it's not. It's it's always so funny when people ask me about Garden of Eden because it is weird. It is very controversial.
Good.
Very much.
Can't wait.
We have a lot of scenes, and after the screening, people came up to me and Joe or Sarah and like, I can't believe you guys did that.
I'm excited. The IMDb set. Can I read it, Marcel? Okay, it says, the wealthy and devout Eden family lives by the word of God. They choose one lucky guest from each of their parties and give them the opportunity to change their life. But a life-changing dream for some may become a nightmare for others.
Sounds
I
cool.
love that. I know. I also love I love anything that is like kind of somewhat biblical. I think it's so creepy and just
this is very
cool.
biblical. So Joe was so smart in writing there because he's putting so much. There's some stuff I didn't even notice in it. Like, and then he told me that I said, "Oh my God, that's crazy." So he put like a lot of like biblical stuff in there, and he's really good with all that kind of writing stuff. So that's, I think, and after all those years, and that was the first movie he wrote for me. But he knows I'm a huge fan of American Horror Story, and he knows I love slasher. So he after all those years, he knows what my style is and what I like. So that's why I think we work so well together. And Brood, I think, is the movie where it shows the best kind of what we love and what we do. And especially I can say but there's a movie we're shooting very soon actually, like end of the month. And that's my favorite. That's everything in there is just my favorite thing ever. And it's we got so lucky that our producers from Brood said, "Yep, let's do it. It's too good not to." And I mean, we will announce something soon. I think in the first week or second week of August we will announce something. But it's like this is just my biggest dream, and it's like I can't wait to see it.
I could tell by your Instagram stories that you're overly excited about it, which I think is awesome. So I think that's great. Mm-hmm.
Well, so everyone who's watching my story or whatever, they know, okay, it has something to do with the 80s. So
I love that.
That's fun. I know. And congrats. That's like, if that's your baby, that's your dream. That's awesome.
It will be great. I can't wait to do that. So it's like, whoopie-doo.
I think it's a testament, real quick too, because we're going to end up wrapping up. But I think it's a real testament to you as an artist and a crafter of film that the people that you work with are so confident in you before your movies have even fully come out yet to say, "Hey, look, we want to go ahead with this other project." And that's like a position that people would literally die to be in that position. So I think that is a testament to the things that you're crafting, even though us as the public haven't seen them yet. It is very encouraging more to see your films because like they're allowing you to make more films, because there's a lot of people in the directing world that are one and done and you never hear from them again. So we're going to get an onslaught of Marcel, and I'm very excited about that.
I know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So we absolutely listen. This has been a blast. We're absolutely honored that you came on, Marcel. You are welcome back anytime if you want to, ever come on and do promo before the films come out or anything that we could do to assist you in creating buzz. You're always welcome with the Dark Screen Society family. And as always, Seth is going to take us out because he does the ending tagline the best.
Let's do it. Well, thank you again. As always, make sure you're following us. Make sure you go follow Marcel and stay haunting, people.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.